Welcome to this session on nitrosamine risk assessment in Canada. If you're a pharmaceutical manufacturer or part of the healthcare ecosystem, you already know how critical regulatory compliance has become. In today's presentation, we'll explore what nitrosamine risk assessment really means, why it's so important, and most importantly, how ResolveMass Laboratories is helping companies meet Health Canada's stringent requirements. Over the past few years, nitrosamine impurities have become a global concern. Health Canada, along with regulatory bodies like the FDA and EMA, has made it clear that no compromise is acceptable when it comes to patient safety. So, the question pharmaceutical companies face today is this: how do we ensure that our medicines are not only effective, but also free from harmful nitrosamine contamination? The answer lies in working with the right laboratory, one that brings together technology, regulatory expertise, and a proven track record. Now, let's break down what nitrosamine risk assessment actually involves. Imagine walking through the entire journey of a drug, from raw materials to synthesis to packaging. At every stage, there's a possibility that nitrosamines could form. The purpose of a risk assessment is to systematically map out all these potential points of contamination. We identify the risk factors, evaluate them in detail, test for impurities using advanced techniques, and finally implement changes that minimize or eliminate these risks. In short, it's like conducting a safety audit for your medicine, making sure no hidden threats slip through the cracks. Of course, this isn't just a best practice, it's a regulatory mandate. Health Canada's 2020 guidance specifically requires manufacturers to perform nitrosamine risk assessments and mitigation. On top of that, international frameworks like the ICH M7 guidelines and FDA EMA standards all set strict permissible limits for nitrosamines in pharmaceutical products. Failing to comply doesn't just risk penalties, it can mean product recalls, reputational damage, and most importantly, risking patient health. That's why risk assessment isn't optional, it's a necessity. So how do we actually perform a nitrosamine risk assessment? The process is systematic. First, we identify possible sources. It could be raw materials like APIs, solvents used during synthesis, or even the packaging. Next, we evaluate these risks, asking, is there a structural reason nitrosamines could form? Do our processes create the right conditions for them? Once risks are prioritized, we move into analytical testing, where science takes the lead. Finally, based on what we find, we develop strategies to eliminate or mitigate risks. Think of it as a cycle of detection, confirmation, and correction. Testing is at the heart of nitrosamine assessment. And here, sensitivity is everything. Gas chromatography mass spectrometry, or GCMS, is excellent for detecting volatile nitrosamines like NDMA and NDEA. Liquid chromatography mass spectrometry, LCMS, takes care of the more complex non-volatile impurities often found in finished drugs. And when we need the highest possible sensitivity, high-resolution mass spectrometry, or HRMS, comes into play, giving us the ability to detect trace levels and even characterize unknown impurities. At ResolveMass, all of these methods are validated against Health Canada's strict detection limits, ensuring accuracy and compliance. Now, when assessing nitrosamines, we consider 4 key parameters. First, structural alerts. Are there amines present that could form nitrosamines? Second, manufacturing conditions, factors like pH, temperature, or certain reagents. Third, batch-to-batch variability, because stability can shift over time. And finally, analytical sensitivity, Remember, the permissible limit for many nitrosamines is less than 30 parts per billion. That's like finding a few grains of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Precision matters. So, why do pharmaceutical companies across Canada trust ResolveMass Laboratories? Because we combine regulatory compliance with scientific excellence. Our testing protocols align with Health Canada, FDA, and EMA requirements. We operate state-of-the-art LC-MS, GC-MS, and HRMS platforms. Beyond testing, we provide regulatory support, fast turnaround times, and customized solutions for each client. In short, we don't just test for nitrosamines. We partner with companies to solve problems and keep patients safe. To wrap this up, Nitrosamine Risk Assessment isn't just another regulatory hurdle, it's about safeguarding the integrity of medicines and ultimately protecting public health. Choosing the right partner laboratory makes all the difference. ResolveMass Laboratories is proud to be that trusted partner in Canada. With our expertise, advanced technology, and client-focused approach, we're here to support pharmaceutical innovators every step of the way. Thank you for joining this session, and if you'd like to learn more or discuss your specific needs, we'd be happy to connect with you.